gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
But the Bus family.
Yeah, we got to talk about this because this is arguably the craziest story out of yesterday. The Lakers have been sold to Mark Walter. Is he majority owner of the Dodgers?
Yes.
I remember he owns partial of the Dodgers, the Sparks. He owns a women's hockey league,
F1.
a F1 team.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
This dude owns LA at this point, and with this acquisition for 10
I heard something
billion.
about the Warriors too.
No, he
He's
doesn't
got
own the Warriors.
A stake.
He probably has a stake in the
Yeah,
Warriors.
he doesn't own
but
them.
He doesn't own them, or is not majority owner. But this again,
I didn't know you could have stakes in multiple teams.
I believe you can, as long as you're not majority owner of both teams. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know legalities of ownership of the NBA. But
money's money. At
this point, this dude, again, he is now 25% ownership of the Lakers, making him the majority owner. The Bus family will hold on to, I believe, 15%, if I'm not mistaken. And Jeannie Buss will continue to be the governor of the team for the foreseeable future. I don't think that's ever going to change. I think Jeannie still wants, much like Mark Cuban, still wants at least a little bit of some control of the team. But as we saw with with the Dallas Mavericks this year, Mark Cuban wasn't consulted when it came to the Luka trade. So is Jeannie Buss going to be consulted in terms of the Luka trade? Because let's be honest here, this could also mean Luka might be out of the entire idea of what he has going, unless Walter wants to keep going with him. But again, that's up in the air still. Is this going to affect your relationship with LeBron? Because let's be honest, LeBron is very close with the Buss family, and I don't know exactly how he's going to feel about the sale. So, but again, we were talking about LeBron only having maybe 1 to 2 years, so maybe they aren't even considering any of this at this point and are just hoping that this sale kind of thwarts them. In my personal opinion, just kind of throw a little salt on the wound here. I think they wanted to sell just to say they were worth more than the Celtics.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, when they bought him, when Jerry bought him, they were $67.5 million.
Yep.
And to turn around
into $10 billion.
To $10 billion. Yeah. Mark Cuban sold the Mavs for $3.5 billion in 23. The Celtics he brought up sold for $6.1 billion 3 months ago. And
so yeah, to say you were $3.9 billion more than the Boston Celtics, you can't sit there and tell me that wasn't part of the plan there.
I was wondering the same thing when it came to the Lakers. I mean, supposedly in the story, I mean, it's still the early infancy,
it's still early stages.
But they said that nothing will change with the Lakers. But when you have a new ownership, of course they're going to come in and put their footprint on something.
Here's the thing, though, because, again, we have to take into account that this isn't a new owner. Mark Walter, like we said, has multiple stakes in multiple different teams and leagues in sports. He's a sports fan, and honestly, I don't expect him to come in and shake up anything. I'm not sitting here thinking that he's going to come in and trade everybody away, but now that the Buss family doesn't have majority stake in the team for the first time in 5 decades, that this is just going to be a little bit of a change of pace. Jeannie's going to have to understand as well at some point during this that you are no longer majority owner. So there's going to be situations where she's not going to be consulted, much like Cuban wasn't consulted for a lot of things in Dallas this year. So like that's where I'm kind of thinking is I don't think that this is going to be a shakeup in terms of he's going to come in and change everything. He's going to take out what the Buss family has done to make the Lakers Showtime Lakers. I think it's more there's going to be something that comes down the line that Jeannie's not going to like.
Of course.
And the fan base is most likely going to lean with Jeannie Buss because of the long-standing relationship between her family and the fans. However, you have to take into account she's no longer majority owner.
Yep.
So what she says really doesn't matter unless she can get the rest of the board on her side. So,
I mean, speaking of Showtime, Magic came out and was saying, he's a business partner of Walter's,
right?
And said he was ecstatic and called Walter the best caretaker of the Lakers brand. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone to come in and try to shake up. But that, like you said, there's going to be things that come up that the Buss family probably wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Buss family, but that's just I pretty much. I mean, you said it. He's pretty much the king of LA right now,
Yeah.
and what he's done with the Dodgers, and I mean, just luckily the NBA has a salary cap, or we would be looking at the Dodgers in basketball. So
Oh, that would be incredible. Not incredible, but like how he would go about changing basketball salary cap would be insane, especially with how much money these guys make right now. But again, I am more impressed that this man, who is the CEO of TWG Global, it's just a diversified company that does a whole bunch of different stuff. Uh, it's impressive to me that this man literally owns sports in LA now. You cannot go to a single sporting event in LA that this man probably does not have a hand in, unless maybe it's WWE or somebody coming in. But even then, you're using his, his monikers most of the time, or his not monikers. I'm sorry, his locations outside of Inuit Dome.
I didn't know there was women's hockey when I was doing the research, and the business he's a part of, the CEO of, is worth $325 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So this is chump change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? We could pick up the Lakers? Yeah, sure.
He
let's do it.
literally just paid for the Lakers with a $10 bill.
Yes.
Think about that for a second. He literally just pulled out a $10 bill out of his wallet and said, "Oh, here, Jeannie, like,
What?
go
You
buy
wanna sell
yourself
the
some
Lakers?"
ice cream." Like,
I
what?
mean,
To have this kind of money is absurd.
well, I mean, what do you think came with the bus just selling it? You just think it was time? I mean, they've owned them since like 79, 78.
I think it has to do with that. I think Jeannie Buss is probably thinking about her own retirement and post, basketball life at some point as well along this. I don't think she'll ever fully leave,
Yeah.
but she'll most likely want to step down from at least the high responsibility positions in the next couple of years. So you have to take that into account. And we've already seen that her brother can't handle it. So being from a family that kind of had something similar happen where we just didn't know where the company was going to go, it just, when an opportunity presents itself, take it. You know what I mean? Like, your dad did what he did with this situation. He created the Showtime Lakers and the absolute dynasty that we know it to be today. And you, as a organizer, have done a great job of sustaining that since he passed. But I think that it was just time. I think it's not a bad look at all. I mean, you look at the move away from Staples to crypto. I mean, the Lakers aren't the same Lakers. And moving forward into the future, I think she was just looking out for the best interest of not only the team and the brand, but herself and her family. So I can't blame her for this at all. Plus $10 billion.
Yeah, who's gonna say no to that?
$10 billion. And you still own 15%. She didn't get rid of everything. She still has a stake in the team, which means they still make money off the Lakers.
Of course. They want them to
This
succeed.
is a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, in a business sense, this is a win-win.
Yeah.
In a sense of like fan base and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot of scornful fans that aren't going to be happy about this, especially Angels fans. But it's gonna like gloss over itself eventually. It's not that big of a deal. You're gonna move on.
Our first text was saying the sell of the Lakers is cool. Means bigger checkbooks than anyone in the league should bring, or will bring a championship, and don't count out by the time season starts that Jamie is out of a job as president, which I don't see happening. I think that was one of the key points of her selling, is that she keeps her job.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Again,
I mean, maybe with the checkbook, I just don't think how the NBA is way different than how baseball's financial.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the thing. Bigger checkbook, not necessarily
Maybe to the arena, but it's new.
There's still a cap salary. You can't just go out and buy people, although there is penalties that you can obviously buy.
Mm-hmm.
But as it has been proven as well in basketball, buying championships doesn't work. It doesn't. You have to build around people. And honestly, it's just the Lakers know that. I think Mark knows that. It's not like baseball where you can go and, like Sparky said, pay Shohei $10 billion for the rest of his life.
That was the funniest meme yesterday I saw with the Ohtani shooting a free throw.
Yeah.
And he said anything for LeBron, huh?
Well, again, I think it's going to be more interesting at the partnerships you're now going to get between the Lakers and the Dodgers. It is now going to be, anytime there is a chance, they are going to mix the two. You're going to get Dodger colored Laker jerseys and you're going to get Laker colored Dodger jerseys. You're going to get Shohei basketball jerseys. You're going to get Luka baseball jerseys. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be interesting little collabs that we're going to see come out of this as well that honestly LA fans are going to eat up. So the business opportunities that are going to come from this are well going to exceed the $10 billion price tag that he just
jersey sales, just the yellow and purple Dodger jerseys. Ugh.
I mean, again, they've done it in the past, but just the fact that this is now a more open situation because obviously the owner's the same guy, it's going to make it even better. And to be honest, if you're a Laker fan, you got to be at least somewhat excited for this because the last couple years of success for the Dodgers behind Walter's moves and stuff like that, you have to at least be excited that is probably going to transition into the Lakers, or at least the mindset of it.
I mean, Walter's been with the Dodgers for 12 years. They've got 2 World Series and 11 division titles.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to be happy.
If not that he is the one making all the moves and stuff like that, but he has to have a stake in what is going on, which means he's at least part of the decision making. So I would say if you're a Laker fan, take this as a good thing. You didn't lose the Bus family. They're still there. And you got a guy coming in that's just going to have the right mindset for championships for you going forward. So
I'm just glad he's a sports fan.
Yes.
You know, it's not like the other billionaires that just buy teams, Dolphins, Stephen Ross. But we'll take a break. We'll get into these crazy criminal stories that busted out yesterday right here on the Early Bird Special. ESPN Bakersfield, 1230 a.m.
101.1 FM.